here to talk to you about the Mayweather-Ortiz fight. For those of you that didn't watch it, it was a different kind of fight. For those of you that did watch it, you're going to agree with me on a couple things, you're going to disagree with me on a couple of things. Bottom line is, we need to talk about this. Let's start with Ortiz. Ortiz is a young fighter, never been in a fight of this caliber, so it's easy for him to get a little frustrated. Now what I mean by that is, I'm not going to take sides, I'm just going to tell you exactly what I think, and we're going to go from there. Ortiz is young, he never been in a fight of this caliber, so it's easy for him to forget where he's at. He got a little frustrated with Mayweather. He didn't know how to react to Mayweather's defense, which everybody knows his defense is one of the best in the business. Having said that, Ortiz got to the point where he wanted it so bad that he, without wanting to, I think, I'm not going to say it wasn't intentional, but I think it was a spur of the moment kind of thing. He went for the headbutt because he wanted to win so bad. He wanted to prove that he is, you know, one of the great fighters of his generation. Not the way to do it, obviously, but you know, when you're in a fight like that, being as young as Ortiz is, it's hard for you not to lose it. Having said that, let's move on a little bit to Mayweather. He's been in fights like that many times. We all know Mayweather likes to use his elbows. I mean, you know, we're not going to deny that. And like I said, I'm not a fan of Floyd Mayweather, but I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to tell you what I think honestly. I'm not a fan, but we know that, you know, everybody knows if you watch boxing on a regular and if you've seen Floyd Mayweather fight, he is an extraordinary fighter. He is one of the best defensive fighters out there. Probably the best defensive fighter because, you know, that's Floyd. One of the best fighters of all times for several reasons. Smart fighter. But what I mean by smart fighter is he will do anything he needs to win a fight. The cheap shot, classic Floyd Mayweather. He got the job done, which is, you know, he promised a knockout like he said, and that's what he got. The way he got it was obviously, you know, some bullshit, but, you know, what are you going to do? Floyd Mayweather is Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he doesn't respect his father. What makes you think he's going to respect Ortiz when his title's on the line? You know, when Ortiz's title's on the line. It's just not going to happen. That's not Floyd Mayweather. Did what he had to. Was it a legal shot? Yes, it was a legal shot. Was it a bitch shot? Yes, it was a bitch shot. You can't blame Floyd Mayweather for being a bitch because, you know, if he wasn't a bitch, he would have fought Manny Pacquiao a long time ago. You want to, you know, talk about being the best boxer, and like I said, you fight people, you know, you fought De La Hoya when he was on his way out. You fight Manny Pacquiao. Bottom line is fight Manny Pacquiao and, you know, show yourself more than anybody that you are the best fighter out there. Because as long as you don't fight Manny, I mean, Ortiz at the beginning of the fourth round, in the middle of the fourth round, was giving Floyd Mayweather a fight, and I think that Ortiz realized that he was giving him a fight, and that's where the frustration came in because he wanted to finish the fight. Having said that, Mayweather knew that he was in for a fight, and I don't think he wanted it as much as, or I don't think he wanted to see what the outcome was going to be if it would have gone. My prediction for the fight before was that Mayweather was going to win. I never thought he'd win like that because I honestly didn't think that Ortiz had it in him to beat him or give him a fight, the fight that he was giving him. But obviously I was a bit wrong about that. I still don't think that Ortiz would have won the fight, but I definitely think it would have been a real close fight. Like I said, you know, Mayweather is Mayweather, and now Manny needs to realize that when he does fight, Mayweather, he needs to, you know, keep focused and keep his eyes on head, shoulders, knees, and toes, because you don't know what's going to happen. But I'm sure Manny already knows that. Now let's talk a little bit about Joe Cortez. What the fuck was Joe Cortez doing? Did you see that fucking retarded look on his face? Like, he had no idea what was going on. I mean, you get paid money to be a referee in a fight of that magnitude. Cortez, really? I mean, what the fuck are you doing? You know, are you getting too old to be that kind of referee? Are you getting too old to be in big fights like that? I mean, you completely let that fight go to shit. It could have been a good fight. Yes, I completely agree that Ortiz fucked up. You know, you took the point away. You should have separated him a little better. You should have said, you know, touch gloves, let's go. But you didn't do anything like, I mean, you being in so many professional big fights should know exactly what to do. And looking away and having no fucking idea what's going on, and then looking down to Ortiz on the ground after he got cheap shotted and you started counting. I understand that you started counting because there was nothing done illegally. As far as, it's hard to tell if the bell rang or if you said fight. I mean, it was just so quick and so Mayweather that it just, you know, it made no sense to anybody. So it was confusing, and with your experience as a referee in those kind of fights, you should have definitely done something a little different. I mean, you know, you're not getting paid minimum wage. You should act like you're in the fight of your life, like both Ortiz and Mayweather did, because they knew they were in a fight. Like I said earlier, it was a fight that I didn't think was going to be as good for Ortiz, but you know, he proved me wrong, and it happened. It was one of the better fights, and it could have been an amazing fight if you would have done your job. And it was sad that it ended the way it did, because now it just confirms Mayweather, and it confirms that Ortiz could be and hang with one. Now let's talk for a minute about Larry Merchant and Mayweather's reaction to his comments, and what I think about the whole thing. It might seem to Mayweather that Larry picks on him, you know, in most of the interviews after fights. That's because I think that Larry sees a lot of, you know, what people see as far as you know, Mayweather, you know, ducking and dodging people, and you know, doing the elbow thing and talking a lot of shit and doing everything that he does. So Larry Merchant keeps it real, you know. Mayweather had no other reaction and had no other way to react, because, you know, when you corner a tiger, the tiger's going to start clawing. Mayweather was cornered, you know, because of the questions that were being asked. He had no fucking answer. He couldn't, there was nothing Mayweather could say to make himself feel like a man after that fight. You know, he cheap shotted the guy. He won bitchy ass way, and I mean, there's nothing he can say that's gonna make him feel like, yeah, you know, I won this fight. So yeah, when Larry Merchant asked him, you know, the questions that he did, of course, fucking the only response that ghetto ass fucking Mayweather's gonna have is he's gonna come back and talk shit and, you know, try to get himself out of that situation as soon as possible. And there was nothing else he could do but act the way he did. You know, typical Mayweather. You put him in a situation where he has to answer a question. How many times has he done that? How many times has he asked or been asked a question and completely changed the subject? Whether it be fighting Manny, whether it be, you know, he's always changing the subject on questions that he can't answer because he doesn't want to sound like a bitch, but it only makes him sound like a bitch that much more. So Larry, definitely think that if you were 50 years younger, you could have kicked his ass. That was funny. But hey, your reaction was as genuine as anybody else's that would have been asking the same fucking question. If I was a boxer, I would have been fucking kicking his ass. I mean, it was perfect. So yeah, Larry, good shit. Going back to the Manny Pacquiao Mayweather fight, I'm really thinking it's gonna happen now, because, you know, Mayweather really has something to prove now, and he's not gonna take the rematch because now he knows that he can actually lose to Ortiz. Knowing that, he's not gonna take the chance and have a loss against somebody that isn't Manny Pacquiao. So am I thinking he's gonna take? Yes, I think he will. If Manny can take the drug test, which now, you know, makes you think that Manny needs to prove something too. So knowing that Ortiz was so close, and like I said, I'm not saying that Ortiz would have beat Mayweather, but it was definitely something that could have happened if we could have continued to see the fight build to what it was building. That's all I gotta say. If you like this video, let me know in the comments below. If you don't, then below. And talk to you.